Right, hello and welcome to this week's angling vlog. This week you join me on the banks of the River Ribble and we're in search of dace. So before we get into the vlog, I just want to say thank you to everybody who left such nice comments on last week's video. It really is appreciated and the support you show the channel is really welcome. Really do appreciate it, lads. Thank you very much, and as always, the tightest of lines in your own fishing. Back to today, and behind me you can see there's plenty of fish topping. It is the penultimate weekend of the river season, and the way conditions are at the moment, you never really know when you're going to get back on the river. Some weeks it just rains all week, so this could well be the last time we get to go on the river this season. So as you guys know on the channel, it's all about having fun and the adventure of fishing. Recently I was at my dad's house and we were having a sort through the loft, and we did find some old fishing tackle. One item of tackle that we did find was my old fishing rod. Now, when I first started fishing, I used a whip on the canal, and then one Christmas, my dad got me a rod, and this is that rod. So today, we're going to go out and we're going to try and catch some fish on it. For those interested, the rod is the Shakespeare Victory X Kevlar match, 1836 360, as you can see on screen now. As you can see, the handle is well worn from all those adventures on the canal. No reel seats back then, it's got the two pieces of metal to hold it together, and the reel we've gone with is a close-faced Abu Garcia. So quickly covering the side tray, got plenty of Hinders hemp. White maggots, got about 3 or 4 pints, plenty of bait. As I always say, the basics that you need for stick float fishing, so simple. Line, weights, some hooks and a disgorger. You'll notice today we're standing up, got the Dinsmore bank sticks in, and we're quite a bit off the water, and we've got potential to move up. That is for good reason. The river at the moment is dropping off, so earlier this morning we had a tide, and they are big tides. You're talking over 9 metres, so if anybody is fishing the Ribble over 9 metres at Gladstone Dock, you're going to see a big tide, and today I think it's 9.3, 9.4. So the river at the moment is running off. It'll continue to drop till about 11 o'clock, and then we're going to see a stark rise in the river for about an hour. So peg wise, you can see it is quite a shallow swim, and you can see there plenty of pace. The rod that I'm using is only 12 foot, so I've been waiting for an opportunity like this to come and try it. What it means is we can set up, you know, under our feet a bit and go down this inside line. So today I'm going to be putting my maggots literally here to start with. I'm just concentrating on this inside line here and just see if we can get bites. It's a beautiful morning to be on the bank, as always, on the Ribble. I mean, how can you not like that? So the first cast of the day, it's going to go a nice flick, chuck some maggots in, and the hope is, you know, to get the fish on this inside line here. There is pace to it, so it's going to be in and out fishing, I would think. So we've got plenty of maggots. Like I always say, in these early stages, it's just about getting from A to B, really. Working the swim out, and then we'll think about where we're going to put our hemp and stuff in a bit. But in these early stages, it's just about making sure we can get from the top of the swim to the end of it without hitting any snag. And there we go, there's the first one. And I was unsure how much it was actually going to bend the rod, but first fish, and it's a dace. Well, it's been at least 20 years since I've used the rod. And there we go, the first dace on the rod. And yeah, great fun. And for the session, like I always say, when you can get one dace, you can get more. And the fact we've caught it on this inside line after it's been about 10 minutes of trotting, I would say. It's a good start. So a real confidence boost to get that dace. There is a snag in the peg just there, and is in a right awkward spot, that, because that's right on the line that I wanted to go down, so not ideal, but it's why we don't put the hemp in at the start, because obviously you don't want to commit to the line too early. So after tying a new hook link on, you can see there as the river's dropping, there's a boil in the swim there, right where ideally you'd be getting your bites. But it's the first half decent dace. Hopefully there's a few more down there. So I just started to get some consistent bites a bit. What I've done is I've got on the outside of that snag, really fed me hemp, feeding the odd bit of maggot, but the hemp is the one that is going to try and keep them down the swim. And if we can just keep them on the outside of that snag and try and get a few in the area, you know, we've got every chance of a bite. It's pointless keeping on feeding underneath my feet, because if they arrive, they're going to arrive here and you can't catch them. So my uncle's nipped for his brew. He's had 1 or 2 days this morning already, and he's just been sat with me trying to work the swim out really, because it's shallow, a lot of boils, we know the tide's going to come in a bit, and if you just go that little bit further out you seem to get the bites. So it's a proper dace. See if we can swing him in. There we go. And that dace is really rough, so they're not soon off spawning. We'll take a look at him. With start to go, it's been a nice start. We've had a few bites on the rod. The reel is playing up a little bit, so I might have to change him out. It's sticking again. But that dace is as rough as sandpaper, so you can tell the end of the season's near. But yeah, great fun on that old rod. That is what you call a proper dace. A handful of dace, 2 weeks to the end of the season, and yeah, great fun on that rod. And at the start of this vlog, it was just about getting out, getting a few bites and a bend in an old rod. I'm just starting now to pick up 1 or 2 of these dace. And the stamp of the dace today hasn't been too bad. We've not had any of them really small ones so far. It's been a good average stamp. And there's definitely 1 or 2 of them down there. Do think I would be doing better if you had me 17-foot rod, because you have really got to hold back. So that extra, 5 foot would enable me to hold back on that sticky a bit easier. But it's taking nothing away from the rod. So I just changed over to a 6 number 4, just to give me a bit more of a finer presentation and hold back so it flutters up. Feels like we're into a slightly better fish. So as the morning's going, getting plenty of bites. I've had quite a few fish, which is great, and I don't think this fish knows what it is. It looks a bit like a roach, a bit like a dace. Leave in the comments below what you think it is. Is it a roach, brooch, brace? Leave down below what you think he is. And this swim today, being full of dace, is a case of knowing your river well and knowing the levels. You can see how shallow it is, but we've picked a day to fish it where the river has got a bit of water in it. Under normal conditions, this would be inches deep and you could probably walk out. But by targeting it today, where there's a bit of water in, you can just see the difference in the results. And it is a lot of effort to come up here to the Ribble. You're talking, getting up early in the morning, 3 o'clock, and days like that just make it worthwhile.
Life is a winding road, no telling where where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know, if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs.
Beginning to start to see the tide come in now. That rock was on the bank 5 minutes ago. So the tide is coming in now, and with it we've had the change of weather that you'd always get. This downstream winds appeared, and it is a theme of the Ribble. When you get the tides, you get the weather, and when the wind allows, you can get that presentation right. That float berries and another nice dace. And there's just something about working a shoulder dace that I enjoy. You know, you've got to keep them coming. They move around the swim. Getting your bait in right to keep them in the right area is all the part that I enjoy. So there's been a lot of inventions in fishing since I last used this rod. A lot will look at carp fishing and the method feeder as being the best, but by far the reel seat, where it stays in place, is most definitely the best. I've lost count today at how many times I've nearly lost my reel. But yeah, anyone who argues it, you're wrong. That is the best invention. So like recent on here, the weather has took a turn for the worse. The wind is absolutely horrendous. It's blowing right downstream and making presentation really hard. And I guess it goes to show what I said this morning, you know, when you're getting them, make the most of it. Make hay while the sun shines, because especially on this river Ribble, it can turn around so fast. So like a lot of sessions on the river this year, on the Ribble, it's been quite blustery at times, and the morning was really quiet. The afternoon, it was blowing a right hoolie, to the point you couldn't even throw your maggots into the river without them blowing back at you. It was a thoroughly enjoyable session on the bank though, using that rod from my childhood, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. As you can see from the final net, plenty of bites, and considering the rod hadn't been out the packet for nearly 20 years, great to get it out there. I really do hope you've enjoyed this week's vlog. I want to wish you all tight lines in your own fishing, and I'll catch you all next week. Tight lines.